Wow.
Crazy.
All right, real quick. Let's get this thing. Share it
They
real
scored that
quick.
fast.
Who scored? They did.
Yeah.
The Colts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, they great. They losing this game tonight. It be like that sometimes. It's gonna be a bad night. I'm gonna be in a bad mood all night. All right. Who's dancing?
We keep missing the field goals.
We're gonna win this game.
All right. After a couple of games got played week 18 and a couple of guys taking losses and shit on purpose, we're gonna see our playoffs is great look right now, man. We come out of a couple games, those 3 games that was super important, got played, and we see. I think it solidifies some things right now. So I'll go back to the schedule and we check out the Cowboys and the Eagles game. 42-39. They won a dogfight. Uh, Ezekiel Elliott had over 200 carries in the last 4 games. Snake don't give a fuck. Oh my God. So Ezekiel Elliott literally ran the Cowboys to a division win. 34 carries in this game, 146 yards, 4.3 yards a carry, 4 touchdowns. Literally ran himself into a playoff division win too, and a divisional game win. That game was for the division. As you can see, it was a high scoring game. 42-39. It looked like the Cowboys pulled it off in the fourth quarter. Let's look at time of possession because that was important in this game. All the Cowboys games down the stretch have been this: 20 minutes and 31 seconds to the Eagles 11 minutes and 28 seconds. Hey man, you trying to get in the game, motherfucking? You trying to get yourself into the dance? It looks like that's going to be the Cowboys' formula going forward. And it's called Butt Ball USA. We are. What do you do? All right, and the Jacksonville Jaguars solidified their divisional win today in a really big win over the Indianapolis Colts, beating them 41-10. The player of the game in this game was, let's see, Trevor Lawrence, 108.8, 312 yards. He threw a touchdown, he threw a pick, but he had a really good game in the air. And then Travis Etienne, 27 carries for 207 yards, 7.7 yards a carry, 4 rushing touchdowns. Travis Etienne did his thing this game, man. They was able to hold Jonathan Taylor to 3.2 yards a carry. And that's why the Jaguars won, man. They gave their 2 young rookies who unlocked. They put the game on their back, and they did what they had to do. The Giants beat the Washington football team 45-17, giving the Washington football team their 5th straight loss in a row, and put that whole division on a 9-8 situation, except for the Cowboys. So we might see what the playoffs is going to look like coming down here. Another game that was super important, a 2-point win by the Patriots over the hot Miami Dolphins, 30-28. In that game. And I talked about their 2 players that was going to have to step up or be stopped. And Mac Jones, man, 120.8, 215 yards, threw a touchdown. Teddy Bridgewater threw 3 picks this game, 235 yards passing, though he also threw 3 touchdowns. Obviously, J.K. Dobbins touched the ball 32 times, as you can see. 169 yards, 2 touchdowns. And on the flip side of things, they said Waddle still played really well. 3 catches, 1 yard. And he was locked on at times. I know Nano played a lot of zone, but they did have Gilmore on the same side as him a lot. 3 catches, 112 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And his weapons did what they did. Look at the tight end, 4 catches, 62 yards, and a touchdown. So the Dolphins got the ball to their weapons, but ended up losing by 2 and lost the division. So the Patriots, congratulations on winning the division. The Cowboys, congratulations on winning your division. And the Colts, lost to the Jaguars. So congratulations on Shoguns winning his division. All right, we're going to advance now. We're going to talk about awards. It's going to be a quick real talk. It's not going to be one of them long real talks where we just going crazy and talking about a lot of shit. This is going to be a little short version of it, man. And here's the franchise guru on a late night right now. Well, you know, not late night. In the middle of halftime, and the Ravens just getting scored on after halftime in real life. We on the broadcast right now, so you know I'm on with headset with a bunch of Raven fans, and we watching the game at the same time. All right, so with that being said, Shoguns is back again. My co-host is back on deck right now to talk about some of the things that's going to happen once we advance. So I'm going to do that now. Going to hit the lead, and let's see who did what, when, where, and why. He still gotta play me. It ain't work, Booney. Sorry. You thought you was going better go down there and play Shoguns with that loss. No, sir. We still up right now. All right, so in the playoff, here go the playoff picture, man. Run it with me, Shoguns. Cardinals and the Patriots, they continue to have their they have the home field advantage throughout the playoffs, so everything goes through Arizona as long as they're playing, and everything goes to New England as long as they're playing. So here's our matchups. Wow. Number 2, that loss from the Philadelphia Eagles to the Cowboys knocked the Eagles out of the playoffs, and the Giants win over the football team, put them to the 7th seed. Well, first of all, can we give it up for that division, man? That was the most interesting division and one of the most interesting seasons I ever seen, yo. I mean, it literally came down to the wire. Those guys all played well. You had a couple teams that had sweeps. You had a whole bunch of splits. And in that situation, man, they would like it really came down to advance and the Madden guys, because I tried to figure it out myself before I hit the league, but there's no way to figure it out, man. Because Madden do whatever the hell they want to do at the end, so you never know who's going to get where. But the matchup will be number 2 versus number 7 in a rematch game that happened in the regular season. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are home versus the New York Giants, 2 versus 7 in the NFC. The Chicago Bears kept the 3rd seed, and the 49ers went up to the 6th seed, and they will be playing the Chicago Bears. Niners versus the Bears. So 2 rookie quarterbacks will be facing off in the playoffs, and Justin Fields and Trey Lance. Yo, Guns, how you feel about that matchup, man, with the 2 rookie quarterbacks?
You know, when it comes to the playoffs, it's always interesting because you know, are they going to enter the game with the jitters? And you know, this is the first time they hit in the field with a lot on the line for the very first time. So this is the lights don't get any brighter.
Right.
So I'm really interested to see what Trey Lance and the other rookie quarterbacks, to see what they do in the brightness of lights.
And then you gotta look at it like this. It's been a long season. Everybody had an extra game to play. To me, you know, as this, how does the season? Are they coming into this game healthy? And then, like you said, the bright lights right now, man. Trey Lance and Justin Fields has been playing lights out. You see the rookie quarterbacks that really been having a good year. They're in the playoffs right now. So we have 3 of them, 2 in the NFC and 1 over there for the AFC right now. But this Justin Fields versus Trey Lance matchup, man, this is, you know, the conversation was Justin Fields the best quarterback in the draft? Somehow he didn't go before all these guys. Trey Lance played 1 season in college and then opted out for COVID, and still got picked in front of Justin Fields. So that's going to, you know, might be on Justin Fields' mind. Like they picked all these quarterbacks in front of me. They're going to pay for this. So you get the matchup there, D West versus Drew here, man. And you know, Drew has kind of missed the front end of the season, but came back on the back end and still made the playoffs. So that's pretty solid right now. You know, we get to really see what these 2 superstar quarterbacks are going to do, because they are superstar quarterbacks right now, not only on trait, but they're playing that way. So that 3 versus 6 matchup is really, really, really special. Let's go back up here and talk about the New York Giants versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, Guns, both these teams want to run the ball, bro. Ronald Jones has probably has the MVP on Smash right now between him and J.K. Dobbins. You got terrific Tom over there. who's going to keep that offense. All 22 starters are back, but they want to run the ball first and foremost. And then you have Saquon Barkley in them. Is this Giants team scary that they got in right now? Is this a scary team to be wanting to play? That after a hot 45-point scoring on offense and defense in that last game in the regular season, these guys back in the playoffs where they didn't even think they were getting in. Do you feel as though they'll be scary, that this is a scary matchup right here?
It's not even just scary. The Giants as a team, backing into the playoffs, everybody on the NFC side need to take notice of that. But the underlying story is both of these head coaches, they were assistant coaches together, under Tony Dungy. So, now that they're both head coaches, they have history, they know each other.
And not only is that, they are familiar with, like you said, they're familiar with each other. These two guys been playing. It's almost like they're connected at the hip. Somehow, some way, they're gonna match up and see each other. And both of these two coaches are familiar with each other. So you got the Bucks offense, who's a run first team, man. They have no problem giving their running back somewhere between 30 and 40 carries to win a ball game. But they also throw the ball at a high level with Tom Brady. He's super accurate. This team is really good with the play action. Do you think that presents any problems for the Giants?
Always. If you let the Buccaneers dictate the pace of the game, the Buccaneers they like to have an up pace, football game. That's why they have a high volume of runs, a high volume of catches. Everything is not bombs down the field, but it's an up-tempo game. So you definitely want to take control of the tempo if you want to be able to keep up with that offense.
Now, if I'm the Giants, I want the ball first in this game, and I want to go down and set the tone and score right away. Because if you could get this team into, playing from behind or playing catch up, then they can't dictate the pace of that ball game. And if I'm the New York Giants, I want my offense on the field first, and I want to show this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team that we're here, we're coming down to strike, and at the end of the day, we have a back in the backfield that can do exactly what your back over there is doing. I think this is going to be a really interesting matchup right now. Do you have if the New York Giants want to win this ball game one again, they got to be able to score points on most of their drives. Like, they cannot go 3 and out a lot. They got to be able to get up and down the field, control the clock, and try to dictate the tempo of this game. For the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you literally just got to play what you've been doing all year, man. Play efficient passing, throw when you have to throw, run the ball, and do what the Bucs been doing all year to have you as the number 2 seed right now with only 2 losses on the year. And let's give that kid Ronald Jones the football. They traded for Naeem Hines, and they still got Leonard Fournette over there, so their backfield is very crowded, and they can all toke that rock right now. So they put together their team in a sense of showing us what they really trying to do over there. And we got running backs to run the ball. So, and we're built for the playoffs. So when you're coming into the playoffs and you want to run the ball first and have 3 running backs to do that, that's setting the tone. That's setting a message right there as well too. Do you think as far as the Giants, how do they take Tom off his rhythm of throwing the ball to those tight ends?
They're going to have to disguise their coverages, and because Tom is not one of those where he's going to go through all his checks.
Yep.
So you're not going to rattle him that way. But if you can disguise your coverages and put people in the passing lanes, and also the defensive line can help also by getting their hands up, to make those passing lanes even shorter. It is possible to rattle Tom. Tom does not like to get hit. That
might have been the smartest thing you said. Get the defensive line getting their hands up, because the one thing that don't happen in Tampa Bay is they don't take sacks. And Tom is a statue back there, but he gets the ball out so fast. These guys barely give up sacks. They probably I don't think they have more than 10 sacks on the season right now. Now, a lot of that's due to the running game, but when they do throw the ball off that play action, he's getting the ball out fast. And because he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league and has the Pro read as his X factor, the guy finds his receivers, and it's really hard for him to be inaccurate. So I like what you're saying. Get the hands up on defensive line and disguise your coverages to be able to try to get Tom Brady off of. You got to get him off of rhythm. He's a rhythm thrower, so you got to get him off his rhythm. Period. Right now. What about Danny Dimes, Mr. Daniel's son himself? You know, they got good wide receivers and good speed. I think the X factor of this game is what the Giants can do in the passing game with two particular receivers, Kadarius Toney and John Ross. How do you stretch this Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense enough to be able to play the intermediate route game with Tampa Bay? What do you think their keys would be?
He's going to have to put them in position to be successful. You know, move them around on the field, do some different things with them. The best thing that that Danny Dimes can do for his offense is to make himself accountable to the defense. When I say that, meaning make that defense also have to look out for him.
Right.
That takes a defender away from some of the passing lanes and some of the things that you can do with Toney and Ross with all that speed. If you got one defender that has to keep his eyes on Danny Dimes.
Yes, and Danny Dimes does have dual threat capability. I do think for him to win this ball game, he has to better use his feet to control, you know, like you said, that middle linebacker, get those guys moving and worrying about him, and then open passing lanes that way. I like this matchup, man. Honestly, this is a really good matchup to open up the wild card. Who you got, Guns, winning this ball game?
Ooh, oh boy. With teams that are so even, wow.
This is a hard pick right here, man. It's a hard pick right here. Two versus 7. You would think, you know, the Bucs are one of the better teams in the league right now. So you would think, like, all right, the Bucs, and I'm willing to pick them because they have the veterans on the field on offense and defense. They're loaded, and they got a bunch of veteran players that's ready for playoffs. They know how to win in the playoffs. They know how to play in the playoffs. So I don't see a lot of mistakes being made out of this team. And then on the flip side, you got the Giants that are very young offensively and defensively.
Yeah.
So
I give the edge because of course because of TB12. But if there's any coach in this league who knows how to play this coach as well, with Coach Craig, that's Max.
We're going to see a football game this game, I think. What you're going to see a whole lot of running, right? And I expect it on both sides. But it's going to be a chess game, bro, because, again, these coaches are familiar with each other. Not only did they coach on the same coaching staff, they've played each other plenty of times. They are very familiar with each other. So I can't wait to see what that chess matchup look like in this game, though. I will give the Tampa Bay Buccaneers the slight edge in this game because of the veterans on both sides of the ball. And terrific Tom, never bet against him. All right, so that second game over here in the NFC, we're looking at 3 versus 6. Let's go back to the young rookie quarterbacks. Who you got winning this ball game, man? Trey Lance or Justin Fields?
Justin Fields is playing with a boulder on his shoulder.
Right.
He definitely wants to show everybody that he want to show the 49ers that they didn't make the right decision when they took Trey Lance over him. So I'm really looking for Justin to be locked in.
You know what's crazy? Go ahead, my bad. Go ahead.
And this may end up being a bad weather game too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You got to go into Chicago, Windy City, in January. It's going to be crazy. But my thing is this: both these quarterbacks have dual threat capability. But both of them, you know, I would have thought we'd have seen a lot of running out of these guys, but they don't. They're looking to throw the ball before they run. Both of them. But in this game, I think Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa got to take a look. Nick Bosa. Think about this matchup right now. Khalil Mack's been dominating all year long. We haven't really heard anything from Nick Bosa, but we know he has X factor ability over there. So you got two elite pass rushers coming after two rookies all game long right now. How do you like that matchup? With Khalil Mack coming after Trey Lance or Nick Bosa going after Justin Fields?
Oh man, I just Khalil Mack's been dominant all season long. I don't see why it stops here.
Yeah.
You know, especially you're in his house, you're playing in his type of weather. You know, you got those boys coming from California, and they coming into the Windy City.
Boy, how about this though? You got Raheem Mostert over there, the fastest running back on the game, right? And you have a coach who, wasn't really known for his running, right? But has a running back like that he has to get involved, and he has got him involved all year when he played his games, right? And then you have a guy that doesn't have the prototypical type of wide receivers that he would like to have, but he does have that centerpiece at tight end with Kittles that he loves. Coach Drew throws to the tight end, but we know Drew is he throw them things up 50-50 ball. My thing is, do he have the receivers to play that type of football, or does he have to play a smart route running game where he need his guys to win when they running their routes? Against this Giants defense. I mean, this Bears defense. The Bears defense is pretty solid on the game, man. They got the pass rush, but on the back end, Jalen Johnson and the kid from Alabama, the safety. I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now.
Jackson.
Eddie Jackson. And then you look at the matchups, the cornerbacks to these receivers. Now, Trey Lance has been getting these guys the ball, but they're not the prototypical type receivers that the 49ers coach like to play with. But do you feel like run 50 ball, throw it up, or you think he's going to have to play when his route running matchups where they're going to have to get open on route running?
He's going to have to do a combination of both, because even though he has speed in his backfield, I don't know the forecast. If it's just cold, it'll be a better game for him. But if there's snow on the ground, that's going to negate some of that speed that he has coming out of that backfield. Man. And some of these guys slipping, coming out of routes, they may not be used to playing in the elements. So some of these timing routes that he likes to throw, they could be negated by inclement weather.
Yeah, and if the weather's bad out here, this situation, you coming from sunny California, it never rains in Southern California. They tell me you got to play in that weather, and these guys are built for that game right now. So who you got winning this game in the battle with the two rookie quarterbacks?
I'm taking the home team. I'm taking the boulder on the shoulder.
Yeah, Justin Fields is playing lights out. And then listen, man, the Bears have beaten, not just beat the 1 and 2 seeds over here. Like, they showed that they were consistent all year. So let's look at the playoffs right now in the NFC. All the teams in there. Now, I don't know if the Bears played the Cowboys, but they swept the Green Bay Packers, they aired the Cardinals, and they aired the Bucks. And Justin Fields played lights out in all those games. So if it's one team sitting in this playoffs that should feel comfortable about being in the playoffs on the NFC side with these teams that they're in there with, it's the Chicago Bears. I like the Bears in this game. I just don't think Drew had enough time with his team because he went on vacation. So I don't really think that he's going to be fully not locked in. He's going to be locked in, but fully understanding what he got on the field right now. I do think this, though. I do think George Kittle is the X factor of this entire game. And what's up with Nick Bosa? He's been quiet all year. Does he take off in this game? Because if he light up, that front seven for the 49ers is really good. But on the back end, can these young corners cover Allen Robinson and Darnell Mooney and all that speed they got over there? Because the Bears, the one thing we slept on the Bears with is that their receiver court is super fast out there. How does the 49er pass rush negate some of Justin Fields' play calling and how he attacks the field? And then I do think the X factor for the Chicago Bears is, and ready for this, David Montgomery. Nobody's talked about what David Montgomery has done all year long, being a starting running back over there. I mean, this man went from normal to a superstar over there, and he's a 1,000-yard runner, and he's capable of getting 4 to 5 yards to carry. I think a rookie quarterback's best friend is a tight end and a strong defense. I think in the Bears case, David Montgomery is the guy that can have Fields comfortable and calm down if he's getting it going, especially with the weather element. I think they lean on these defensive players for the 49ers and let David Montgomery have himself a day. And if he has a day, it's going to be a long day. I do like Chicago in this game. Now, let's go slide down here, Austin, Texas. Cowboys versus the Green Bay Packers. Now, I picked the Green Bay Packers to win their division because they're one of the better teams on the game. He still made the playoffs. He's the 5th seed. And let's talk about the Cowboys for a second. So when you think of the Cowboys, Guns, what do you think first and foremost?
First and foremost, Ezekiel Elliott. is the first thing that I think about based off of what I've seen this season.
If we just go, let's slide away from the playoff picture for a second, and let's go to the Cowboys for a second. Now I want to go back to schedule, right? And I want to just
Hmm.
show you things that matter right now. So let's go to season Cowboys. Here we go. Season week 1. Let's look at it. No, I don't want. No, I want his team schedule. Oh yeah, here we go. Team schedule. There we go. Let's go Cowboys. All right, and let's just talk about the Cowboys season this year. So we can go back to the regular season. So the Cowboys lost to the Bucks 42-10 in the opener, right? Then they ran off a three-game winning streak, right? Then they end up losing 1, 2, 3, and then they won 2, lost, and then they kind of had a nice little run out. But I want to get to, let's start from week 18 and go back. And I want to know if you think this is important, the way the game is now. So the new practice training and fatigue situation is important on how you train your players and how you use these guys in games right now. So he comes out of the Eagles game, and all we want to do is talk about the guy that ran himself to a division. Simple as that, right? So you go to the run game here. Do the math with me. Ezekiel Elliott had 34 carries in this game, right? To beat the Eagles to win the division. All right.
34 carries.
34 carries. So
Damn.
now you go from the Eagles game to the Cardinals game. Now he lost that game, but in that game,
Yeah, 40 carries this week.
Ezekiel Elliott had 31 carries, right? So 34 and 31. Let's do the math. How many carries is that in 2 games? All right, so keep the number there. Just keep the number there for me. Let's keep going. I'm not done with this. All right, I'm not playing him out, but I'm quite sure my co-host is going, dig in his ass a little bit. But all right, so now he goes to the football team. He wins that game, 38-28. How many carries did Ezekiel touch the ball in this game?
33.
All right, so that's 33 carries now. Do the math. Where we at now in 3 games?
We over
98
100.
carries.
All right, so he comes out of the football game and he plays the Saints. Now, I don't know if he played this or he played the computer or not, but we still got to take this into consideration. He had 26 carries in this game. All right, what's the math now?
98 plus what?
26.
That's 124.
All right, so then you go to the last game. I'm gonna stop right here at the Raiders game. He didn't play this game, so I'm sure the carries are down. 20 carries against the Raiders. Do the math for me, and then I'll go to the Chiefs game, and I'll stop
144.
there. All right, and I'll stop at that game. Now in the Chiefs game, he carried the ball 27 times in that game. Ezekiel Elliott, if there's any running back that's built for it, is Ezekiel Elliott. Now I'm not saying this to play him out, although I will let Falk talk about that in a second. But that's how many carries in the last couple of games like that with the fatigue system. Do you think that Ezekiel Elliott is going to be able to tote the ball throughout the playoffs and keep carrying his team the way he do? Or do you think the Cowboys are going to have to find a way to start getting other guys the ball or get that passing game going? That's my question. I mean, the man's had almost 200 carries in 6 games.
And ain't yellow, ain't red. I can't even practice for my niggas and they on yellow.
So coming into this Green Bay Packers game, I don't think the Coach Snake and these Cowboys are going to do anything different. They're going to stick to their winning formula, which is giving Zeke the ball somewhere between 30 carries a game. And then you're going up against the Green Bay Packers, who's loaded up on defense. They have the front 7 to be able to stop the run. And on the back end, their corners can shut down anybody's number 1s. So in this matchup, you got Hillburgers versus Snake. Do you think Snake can still win this ball game? Or is you think Zeke could be burnt out in these playoffs?
Wow. I mean, he's gonna have to keep going with what got him there.
Right, of course.
I'm surprised by the amount of carries, especially when they have a serviceable backup that could easily have taken away, if not half, a third of those carries. So I'm surprised.
I'm not surprised. The guy wants to win. He wanted to win. He want to win in the playoffs. What I know is he knows his guy's an X factor, and he wants to use that ability. So you got a running back in the backfield that literally is a dog in that backfield, but he's a normal. You're not gonna get that guy the ball because you know if I get Ezekiel Elliott on fire, he's falling forward for 5 yards every time. And it's a working formula, and that formula ran him to 11 wins. And now he's Green Bay got to travel to them, and he has to go up against the Aaron Rodgers. How do you feel about this matchup? Like, my thing is everything falls on Ezekiel Elliott. If he's red, if he's tired fast, and he can't be able to control this ball game with Ezekiel Elliott, is this team ready to be able to throw the ball with Dak Prescott?
Wow.
What do you think? What do you see with this matchup here?
I think for the playoffs, he's gonna need Ezekiel is gonna need Dak to help him out a little bit. I think that at this point defenses are gonna be locked in. I think that Dak is gonna have to do a little bit more than what he's done in the regular season to help Ezekiel out, because I don't see Zeke having the same success. These people make the playoffs for a reason, and I think they're going to be locked in, and I don't see Zeke having the same success without some help from the passing game.
Right. And I do think Ezekiel. I mean, you got Dak Prescott. He's a superstar quarterback. The problem is he's thrown more interceptions than touchdowns. And these guys aren't really active. Like, he got a good receiving core. I don't like the matchup. If the Green Bay Packers are able to control Ezekiel Elliott, I do not like this coach with the passing team he got now. I like their offensive weapons when it comes down to the passing game, but I don't like this coach with this passing game. And you know as well as I know, the Green Bay Packers probably got the best or one of the best secondaries in the league right now, and they can play and run with anybody. If them DBs are fast and legit, and they have a superstar X factor over there that can shut down your number one over there, you're not going to beat them with speed. And I don't think that the Cowboys have shown all year long that they have the offense that's equipped to be able to get the ball up and down the field in the passing game. But the question is, can you make the Cowboys throw the ball?
Right. And I know every Dallas fan is holding their collective breaths, because every time Aaron Rodgers has stepped in, he's ended their season.
Right.
Whether it was them trying to make the playoffs or booting them out of the playoffs, Aaron Rodgers has always been the quarterback that is Dallas home.
And then, the Green Bay Packers are coming in this game with two good running backs. They're coming into this game and they use both their running backs. With Aaron Jones, who's a superstar in his own right, and then you got the big lean on you back with A.J. Dillon. And I like, and they got two pretty much Hall of Fame receivers on the edges with Devontae Adams and Michael Thomas. I like this matchup. And I think it comes down to this. If Green Bay can make the Cowboys throw the football, and not be able to just lean on Ezekiel Elliott's ability all game long, I like the Green Bay Packers making this a ball game. Now, am I ready to pick the Green Bay Packers to win this game? I'm gonna save my pick. Yeah. What do you think, Falk? You think Harold Burgers can come in and win this ball game?
If the Cowboys run the ball 35 times for 150 yards plus, Harold Burger doesn't have a chance.
You say he don't have an opportunity?
He won't have a chance if those numbers that I just stated come to light. 35 carries for over 150 yards. He won't win.
If the Cowboys can get Ezekiel 35 carries and have over 150 yards, the Green Bay Packers will not be able to win this ball game.
Yes.
What do you say, Guns and Falk, to to a team like the Cowboys, that got the weapons on offense? That's the one thing they do have, is weapons on offense. And for them to bring Zeke back to life the way they did and leaned on this man to win them ball games, to get themselves at the 4th seed right now and have a home game in the playoffs to win their division. What do you say to a coach who understands his player and the type of game this game is right now, and how important it is to have an X factor running back there and be able to run the ball with him?
Hey, they paid that man a lot of money So for them to get that man, the ball 100 times a game, I'm not gonna sit here and and take a dump all over that. I mean, they paying that man to carry the ball that many times.
Right. They paying him to be their weapon.
So I don't have a problem. My only problem is if the Packers can somehow take a lead, this offense is not built to play from behind.
Cowboys offense?
Cowboy offense is not built to play from behind.
At all, right?
Nope.
I do believe that. I do believe that. Same thing. I love that statement. That they aren't built to be from behind. So again, the Packers will have to jump up on top of these teams fast because it's going to be a long day, man. They're going to take their time and they're going to do what they've been doing all season long. Hold on, Cincinnati. Invite to chat. Max.
Yeah.
Is Max on?
Yo.
Send Snake an invite to the chat, please. All right. Cowboys, Green Bay Packers, man. This is an interesting matchup, man. We got two guys that, are playing with some teams that, they usually aren't playing with, and they both, played well all year long right now, man. That's our NFC side of things right now. So you got the Cowboys and the Green Bay matchup. You got the two rookie quarterbacks facing off with each other, and then you got the two familiar coaches facing off with each other with the Tampa Bay Bucks and the New York Giants. And slide over to the AFC side of things. New England won their last week 18 over the Dolphins and secured the division for the first year. Congratulations to Nano winning his division. Now on the flip side of that, the Broncos has been at number 2, and they've had beaten some pretty big teams over here this year, but they quietly sitting at number 2 right now, and they match up with the team they just swept in the Kansas City Chiefs. Let me ask you this: it looks like the Chiefs. It looks like the Broncos and Coach Jimbo got the Chiefs number because they've been putting it on the Chiefs. It hasn't just been winning the game. They've been kind of like beating them by a lot of points, right? That Broncos secondary, I think, is guys aren't paying attention to how good that secondary really is. And it started with him through free agency before the season started, him grabbing players through free agency. It also started with those rookies getting their pro days and combine numbers right. And they're loaded over there. I mean, they can go 4 deep at corner, and they can go 4 deep at safety. And they can run. They got guys that can run and they can cover all over the field. And it starts, with the rookie Patrick Surtain and Kerry Vincent Jr. Being able to run and play at a high level over there in the secondary. But this Broncos team with Tua Tagovailoa as their quarterback, they kind of took off when they started giving Javonte Williams the ball. He's been playing at a lights out level from like the last 6 games. And then you got the Chiefs, man. We know the Chiefs know how to get their weapons involved on offense with Kelsey, Hardman, and Tyreek Hill. I'll ask you, Guns, the fact that, the Chiefs been swept, do you think that they traveled a mile high? And the fact that they haven't beat this team all season, do you think that plays a role in this game, or do you think do you think the Chiefs can go in there and pretty much upset the Broncos?
The Broncos take away exactly what the Chiefs love to do, and that's go vertical.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to be another game. I know the Chiefs are used to playing in the elements, so this is not going to be new to them, but those elements still take away, it downgrades that speed a little bit, like I said before. So Coach Jimbo takes away exactly what Kansas City likes to do, and that's go vertical down the field. And I don't see them being able to.
What I like is this. Listen, bro. Both of Javonte Williams is really going to be the reason why they move the ball on offense, right? But then the Chiefs' defense is fucking terrible. They can't get a stop, and that's the problem. But when you can't get stops on defense, you got to keep drives going on offense to be able to score with this team. And the one thing we not paying attention to is that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a 1,000-yard back, and he's been using him really well. I've seen at least 3 or 4 games where he's rushed for 100 yards or more with his running back. Do you think he should tone his offense down a little bit on the shot plays and all that, and maybe work on running the ball in this game a lot more and setting up the passing through the run?
I mean, he should, especially in a game like this. What you don't want to do is you don't. I'm not saying that the Broncos secondary is a no-fly zone, but they play the vertical passing very well. So you end up turning the ball over, immediately when you can kind of control the clock, you can control the flow of the game by trusting, let your running game open up your passing lane.
Yeah, I think he does have to get Hilaire in the
shit.
game because you got to trick this secondary. You can't just, like you said, you just can't run vertical routes and all that. But I do think the linebacker matchup with Kelsey is definitely a mismatch. I don't care who he has over there on defense at linebacker, they not covering Kelsey. And if if he runs his offense the right way and have a nice balance between running the ball and making Reek stretch the field, I think me and Falk talked about this. Actually, me and Boone talked about this. I think he got to find a way. He's doing a good job with Hardman, right? But Hardman is really more of a short route runner. I think he has to do a good job in this game of mixing it up with Tyreek going deep and Hardman going deep and finding ways to get Tyreek open and not lose the deep threat capability you have by being able to use Hardman on deep passes like this. So, Falk, what would you say if you was the Chiefs and you lost twice to this team? You know they got a no-fly zone secondary, and that's what your team do best with Patrick Mahomes. How do you get yourself back into the mode of, all right, we know we lost twice in the regular season to this team, but we can win this game in the playoffs by doing what?
I mean, they just got to play different. Obviously, that's the strength. Your strength is their strength, so you got to be creative and still going to your strength, but not playing totally into the opponent's hand.
Right.
And maybe maybe it might be time if Richard Barber could do it, to run the ball 30 times. Everybody else doing it and being successful. So, maybe this might be the game. You know what I'm saying? Just following the trends of the league.
40 times.
Richard Barber ain't paying attention to shit.
Man.
He ain't
watching. If you want to win, that would be my advice. If you want to win, you got guys toting the rock 200 times in 3 games. I'm just being honest. That's the thing. The thing. So why not? If you want to win, if you don't want to win, then go ahead and throw the ball into his strength and get air.
Man.
Now, anybody will go out on a limb right now and pick the Chiefs for this game, or is everybody Broncos in this game?
I think the Broncos winning the route. I don't think the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs could win if he plays how I just said, but he ain't gonna do it.
He gonna stick within his game.
He can win if he runs to set up the pass and get Hill and Hardman open.
He ain't gonna do it.
At this point, don't you gotta play what got you there? You're not gonna get here and change up shit. You gotta play what got you there.
Yeah, but you got to be able to call. Because here's the thing. We're going to talk about this. Richard Barber is going to fling that football, but if you pay attention, Hilaire has did a great job in the run game for him. And when that passing game is going, I just think in the playoffs and you playing a team that has a no-fly zone secondary, you have to kind of let that run kind of open up the passing for you, because you got to get those corners, worrying about coming up and wearing the secondary with their eyes in the backfield and not on his receivers. That's the first thing, right? But the formula is this. Listen, guys are running the fuck out of the football, bottom line. They've been running the football all year long. But you got two type of runners. You got guys that know how to run the ball, right? And you got guys that are taking advantage of the game and running the ball, right? And it eliminates the run game. Being able to run the ball eliminates mistakes and showing your flaw and how good you really are in the game. I don't think everybody that's running the ball at a high level are really good runners. But they're smart. They're being smart in how they're playing the game. If you're running the ball and getting first downs, 4 yards, 5 yards a carry, you don't have to show the fact that you can't read the field when you throw the ball, right? You don't have to show it because you're running it. Like you got your nano type of runners who runs, and then if you load that box up, he can hit you with some plays, right? Shot plays. But if you put him in situations where it's third and longs and stuff like that, it's playing to the defense's favor in them situations, right? Then you got a runner like Craig who runs the ball a whole lot all game long, but you see he's efficient in the passing game as well. So they're harder players to play in those moments, right? And then you got guys that have their superstar, like in Snake, got their superstar X Factor. He's in the backfield, get that man the football, and you show me you can stop it. Simple as that. Well, in Snake's case, why do he have to try to dot you up in the passing game and you can't get him off the field through the run game? So he's going to stick to it. Then you got, guys that, need to run the ball to be successful, and you got guys that run the ball because it's a choice. So I don't think anybody should change up how they play. I think you just need to play smarter in the playoffs. But in Rich DeBarber's case, what he's been doing all year that worked on everybody else hasn't worked when he played the Denver Broncos. So in his case, he has to be able to figure something else out to be able to get what he likes to do to work over there. So I don't think none of us will go against the fact that the Broncos will win this ball game. And then you got the 3 versus 6 seed. Now this is interesting because Boone just took a forced loss, and probably in hopes, and I'm speaking for him, he'll better come on and speak for himself, in hopes that game would have dropped him to the 5th seed, I guess, and put the Dolphins to 6. I don't know how that would have possibly happened. I don't know why he gave that forced win up to a guy that was tanking, but he did. But it stuck us here, a division game that's going to be our 3rd time playing this year. Baltimore versus the Cleveland Browns, man. Now, this game has been crazy because on one side, the Cleveland Browns completely dominated game 1 and literally was blowing the fucking Ravens out. We end up coming back, but it was a rout. You know, the score didn't reflect on how that game went. And then game matchup 2. Now, Cleveland traveled to Baltimore in game 1 and blew the doors off the Baltimore Ravens. And then Baltimore traveled to Cleveland and blew the doors off the Cleveland Browns. This matchup is crazy, but what we do know is this. His success against the Baltimore Ravens in the first game was high carries for Nick Chubb. Does anybody think that he's not going to rely on Nick Chubb to win him a ball game in the playoffs right now?
It's gonna be a 40-carry game.
It's gonna be Nick Chubb early and often.
40-carry game.
Yeah.
You gonna have the ball 3. You gonna have the ball 3 times.
Say it you say it like goddamn, folk.
I'm just listen, man. We sit here sugarcoating shit, and I'm tired of it. Motherfucker, every game on the fucking docket gonna be 40-carry games. I ain't watching none of them. This shit's gonna be sad. Every game is gonna be a 40-carry game on the docket. Period.
Why is sad, man? Why is sad,
man? Sad.
Man, why is that sad, or like look like in a sense like looked at as it's like almost like frowned upon?
This ain't Nebraska in the '90s. This ain't Wishbone. This ain't motherfucking.
I mean, what if this
equal option?
Man, I don't see most teams running. I see him out there running the ball.
I see Nick Chubb as one of the, if not best running backs in the league, and I think Boone is not stupid. He's not going to come out here and do anything to jeopardize him winning. You know, guys want to win, bro, bottom line, and they're going to do it by all means necessary. When you see guys that, you know, change their whole style of playing up for a win, you know, selling your soul winning, but it's smart. I can't be mad at it because guess what? I'll get my running back 50 if I got to, but I'm not. I don't want to. I want to play a game. I know this is going to be a hard matchup for me. Just the 3rd time we're going to match up. I know it comes down to if my young front 7 can stop Nick Chubb. Bottom line, we can keep Nick Chubb in containment. I think we can have a good situation. Shoguns, man, this matchup for the 3rd time this year, man. How do you feel about the matchup? What's the keys?
Whoever stopped the run better.
Yeah, really, because I would like to know how the elements are going to play in this game. I think the Ravens. I think this game is built for the Ravens. They're playing at home. Crowd's going to be going crazy. I think the running game is going to be on, and sooner or later, I suspect the Browns may abandon their plans and they may go to the air and it may end up costing.
I mean, at the end of the day, this Browns team has been successful with Odell Beckham running crossing routes and the tight end delay in the passing game. They run you know, it's the Boone Cat. They run Boone's offense. Boone has, you know, the Wildcat. He's the you know, originator of that. He likes to throw the running back swing passes. A lot of those, like, you know, not trick plays, but a lot of those like gadget plays he like to do. But when it comes down to it, Nick Chubb is running the ball and traditional running that he usually doesn't do. Boone runs the ball out of the Wildcat. We're going to see him line up in I formations and run powers at this Ravens team. He's going to do what he did the game that he won and try to be successful off of that. I think the Baltimore Ravens got to limit the passing game. Like, if Nick Chubb's going to have a day, you cannot let him steal plays with tight end delays and things like that. You got to be prepared and keep your, and keep this offense in front of you and make them march up and down the field and not get still quick plays and big plays in the passing game. Let them run the ball and try to stop it. I do think we're playing better, but we are still playing with a bunch of rookies at that linebacker level in the playoffs. So we got to see how that's going to take its course. I do think Lamar Jackson could be the X factor of this game. You haven't really seen him really be explosive in the run game all year. This year he's been more of a passer. Traditionally, more than he has done anything in the run game, really with his feet. So I think for the Ravens to really win this game, they got to get Lamar going and run the ball with Lamar as well as the two rookie running backs, the two young running backs over there in Baltimore. I like the matchup. I think they match up evenly across the field. I do think the Cleveland Browns are better matched. They higher overall with team overall, and they have the players, bro, all over the field. Like that's just call it what it is. This team is really good, and so is this Baltimore Ravens team. Now going down to matchup 4 and 5. Didn't you play the Dolphins already this year?
Yeah, I did.
All right, so let's talk about this game. Trevor Lawrence is unlocked now. Superstar is active, and Travis Etienne is unlocked. His superstar is active. When you're looking at this Dolphins team, they are really good on offense and defense. They were one of the hottest teams in the league all year long. They find a way to get Jalen Waddle has record-breaking numbers this year, and they get the ball to him. They know how to get the ball to him. I think their offense really goes through Jalen Waddle and the tight end, and then on the flip side of it, your offense goes through Travis Etienne. Let's talk about it. All year long, you're not facing an elite running back team, right? But they do a good job between the 3 running backs they have. This team wants to pass the ball first and foremost. What do you have to do in this game to be able to kind of protect your young superstars? The two guys you're going to depend on are in the playoffs for the first time, and Travis Etienne and Trevor Lawrence. How do you manage the game and keep them under control?
Well, what happened in the last game, it was going okay at first, but of course it was one of those rain games, one of those monsoon games. But we were the only ones that seemed to turn the ball over and got behind, early, and then had to like claw our way back to get back in the game. So this time is hopefully this won't be one of those rain games. We have to limit the turnovers,
right,
in order to give ourselves an opportunity and limit the big plays, because like I said, Jalen Waddle had a big game against us last time. I made the joke over and over, like he just literally ran down the field, and my safety just kind of waved at him, just like, "Hey, how you doing?" and just let him keep on running.
Now, the keys to this, I mean, you do have some solid corners on the game. They're active, right? Is there a matchup situation here, or do you just stay playing playing your D and relying on your team to play as a team versus maybe having to lock somebody on Jalen Waddle one-on-one, or
No, we're gonna play as a team and limit the turnovers. If we limit the turnovers and control the line of scrimmage, a lot of times Teddy was able to roll out and buy time. Like Waddle became open because I just felt like my safeties got caught peeking in the backfield.
Right.
Because because Teddy was moving around, running from sideline to sideline. We weren't able to get a consistent pass rush. So we definitely. I'm going to preach my defensive line. They definitely got to cross the face of the offensive line and get off those blocks and get into the backfield and create, help our secondary out and create turnovers. And my secondary is going to have to not get caught looking in the backfield. Now, we had a very young secondary before, and now we added a veteran, Chuck Clark. So I'm hoping that Chuck can You know, he has the blue dot on his helmet, so he can keep that secondary under. You know,
All right, so we had a
control.
comment though in the comment section. Is the Dolphins coach going to have sweaty palms, or has he turned the corner? I think that's the factor. All right, so he's going off of real draft and the success or non-success that the Dolphins had, and the one thing the Dolphins, which is Coach Young Camden did, the games he needed to win, he didn't win those games in RDL. But we in Game of Thrones right now, Madden 22, a whole different league, different game. He's hot. He's been hot all year long. He's won some really big games this year, and he's been playing really good football. I think he comes back into this game. I don't think this is a sweaty palm game for him because, and that's just speak facts here. I don't think he's threatened by the Jaguars. I don't think he thinks this is a coach that's going to make him sweat his palms. Now, if he comes in that game overconfident, you're in a bad situation right now. We watched this Jacksonville Jaguar team do some good things against teams that he's supposed to do it against, and we saw him, play the #1 team in the league to a one-score game on a goal line, third down on a 5-yard line to tie the game up, possibly win that ball game. So this Jaguar team can play. I just think with the youth on that team, they're up and down all year. What we do have is we have the Dolphins defense, who's really lights out in that secondary. I mean, they got an X factor and a superstar at the corner position, and they have these safeties. It's 3 of them: Trill Williams, Javon Holland, and Eric Rowe are playing at a very high level at the safety level. So I do think the secondary is playing really well, but it comes down to the one thing that the Dolphins have shown on defense, that if you can run the ball and be successful in the run game, they do have problems stopping the run. And on the flip side of it, these guys, they have Teddy Bridgewater playing in a level that none of us would think about. You wouldn't game plan versus Teddy Bridgewater, but he's playing to the point where you gotta kind of game plan towards him now, because he's lights out. He's playing like he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league right now. I like this matchup, bro. I think Jacksonville is home. They both are used to the good weather, and I don't see nothing changing unless it rains. Other than that, this is a good matchup, man. I can't wait to see this matchup. Who you got winning this game, Snake? Jaguars at home or the hot Dolphins on the road?
And I ain't gonna lie, I ain't really watched a lot of their games, but I see Waddle doing some impressive stuff out there. So like, you play deep, make them beat them some places outside Waddle, man. The Jags can sneak them. I think it's gonna be a competitive game. I don't know.
I like
no
this
idea
game,
though, bro.
But I think Trevor Etienne getting 30 carries too. And if he get 30 carries and he's getting 4 or 5 yards a pop, it's going to be a long day. My thing is, the Jacksonville Jaguars are very sneaky fast at that linebacker level, with Miles Jack and Dylon Moses.
They got rookies though.
Yes, they're young, and if those guys can play
running back, so.
exactly.
Yeah.
The rookie thing is always going to be an issue in the playoffs. How they play in the playoffs. So like Falk said, man, the formula of the playoff, guys want to win, they going to run the ball. I think everybody going to come into their game trying to be who they are, you know what I'm saying, knowing that it's the playoffs. Do tight backsides get tight? Yes. And do palms get sweaty? Yes. And whoever can keep their composure in these games should be successful in these games. Now, we're going to come out of the playoff pictures and our predictions and go to the awards, and let's talk about the award winners in this in the league, man. Who walked out of here with hardware, man. Yearly awards. So let's talk about it right now. Like we said, Ronald Jones, the MVP of the league right now. Ronald Jones has won the MVP. This year's MVP runner is Ronald Jones. Falky, how you feel about Ronald Jones, man, winning it, and you having the only off position in the race in the top 5?
The only who?
Off position. All the guys up here are running backs.
Just goes to what the league is, man. And, he's the best. He's the best at what he do. But he also has a passing game with it. If you cheat too much, he's gonna make you pay. So, I think he got a great formula. It's actually a playoff formula. If you want to be honest. So it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough to beat that team. If you run that ball how he's running during the regular season.
Yes, sir. I definitely think they're gonna be a tough out. AFC Offensive Player of the Year goes to J.K. Dobbins. Your top three was Jaden Waddle and Travis Etienne. Snuck his ass up there to number 3. Solid. Let's look at the NFC. NFC the Offensive Player of the Year. Ronald Jones brings home 2 hardware trophies. He got MVP of the league and Offensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year in the NFC goes with who that? Jerry Jacobs, the safety for the Lions. Nobody knows who he is, to the point where he's such a ghost. We're gonna call him Ghostface. He doesn't even have a picture. Ghostface Jerry Jacobs is the defensive player of the year.
Was that a lot
NFC.
of computer love? Like,
he played his games. No, he played his games. I ain't gonna talk about a guy that didn't play their games. He played his games. Now he gave up some forced wins, but he played his games. He probably played about 10 out of the 16, maybe 9 out of the 16 games, 17 games he played. He gave up a first one last week, but this guy, he's been balling though. Whoever it is, and that's his mo. Antonio always find a way to have a safety plan at a high level. The number 2 defensive player of the year race war was Khalil Mack, who was lights out all year long, and old man Levante David was number 3 in the NFC. Now the AFC defensive player of the year goes to Hammer Nasiruddin, the rookie for the Baltimore Ravens. Miles Jack was number 2, and Tre'Davious White at the cornerback position was number 3. Now we go to the offensive rookie of the year. Of course, Jalen Waddle, man, record-setting year, 40-plus touchdowns this year as a receiver. Went dummies. Yeah. Travis Etienne and Najee Harris were your top 3. And the NFC, sliding over to the NFC, Rondelle Moore wins the Offensive Rookie of the Year award. Justin Fields was 2, and Trey Lance was 3, and these two match up with each other in the playoffs right now, Justin Fields and Trevor Lance. But Rondelle Moore, man, fuck you, tell me about him, man. He, a normal player with superstar talent, and how was he able to, be a great asset for you this year offensively?
Just a playmaking ability. We didn't really have the time offensively to use the speed downfield, so we usually want a lot of jet passes, in routes, out routes, drags, and he produced for us. He wasn't explosive, wasn't a lot of rack, but he had 120 catches, 2,000 yards, I think we had 2,000-yard receivers.
Hey, 2,000-yard receivers and 1,000-yard receivers. So the offense throwing the ball. I mean, he threw for almost 7,000, if not 7,000 yards this year. So you got busy in the passing game. And the fact that out of the 3 receivers you had, he was a 2,000-yard receiver along with Isabella, and then the veteran out of over there with Nuke had 1,000+ yards too. All of them had 20 or more touchdowns as well, man. So Rondelle Moore, Offensive Rookie of the Year for the NFC. I think I did the AFC already. So let's look at the Defensive Rookie of the Year over here. Who that? Ghostface. Jerry Jacobs won that. Tate Gowen, a corner that comes out of nowhere and is playing from normal to a superstar. He has the ability equipped on him now. He's been lights out for the Cardinals all year long, along with Eric Stokes, man. When you talk about rookie cornerbacks right now, in the NFC, I like both these guys. Eric Stokes has been a playmaker. And every game I've watched, this man has done something to make that Packers defense reverse their fortunes. He won big games with walk-off interceptions for them, and he's also been playing lights out. I mean, again, when you got a guy that, probably the fastest corner in the league as a rookie, you could do some things with that guy. So he's balling. And again, Tate Gowen probably was an unheard of, no-name guy that, played really well for the Cardinals to the point where he's probably their number 1 corner at this point right now. So your top 3, Jacobs, Gowen, and Stokes. AFC, I said the AFC rookies already, I think. No, I didn't. Defensive Rookie of the Year. Yes, I did. No, I didn't. I didn't talk about them. So, all right. So, Hammer actually won this award. But Donovan Steiner and Jason Owe rounds off the top 3. I mean, the Baltimore Ravens have 1, 2, 3, the first 4 off Defensive Rookies of the Year right now. And, it looks good. Future looks bright. But in the playoffs, can these guys play at a high level? Rookies. All right, so and that's the offensive defensive rookies. Now, best quarterback in the AFC, Lamar Jackson won that award. Teddy Bridgewater came in 2nd, and Patrick Mahomes was your 3rd best quarterback in the AFC. And the NFC best quarterback obviously was Kyler Murray, Tom Brady, and then Trey Lance. And I'm impressed with Tom Brady being number 2 on this list when we call this guy a runner the way he is. Tom Brady is very efficient, and old man Tom shows what he's doing. Trey Lance and Justin Fields are right next to each other, 3 and 4, but that'd be your top 3. Best running backs in the NFC. Ronald Jones is 1, Ezekiel Elliott is 2, Saquon Barkley is 3. Give it up to Ronald Jones. That's his 3rd award he won this year. He's racking them things up right now. And in the AFC, the best running back award goes to, obviously, J.K. Dobbins. And your top 3 was Travis Etienne and Najee Harris. Rounds off your top 3. At receiver, best receivers in the AFC was Jalen Waddle at 1, Hollywood Brown, and Tyreek Hill with your top 3. In the NFC, the receivers go as follow. Andy Isabella wins the Best Wide Receiver Award. Rondelle Moore is 2nd, and D-Hop is 3rd. It's very impressive that the Cardinals got the top 3 receivers in the NFC. Nuts. All right, so best offensive lineman, you got Rodney Hudson, probably the only lineman that the Cardinals have over there. Zach Martin for the Cowboys played at a high level, and Tristan Wirfs balled out over there for the Bucks, but the award goes to Hudson. AFC best lineman was Trent Brown for the New England Patriots are 1, Quentin Nelson at 2, and Ronnie Stanley rounds off your top 3. Congratulations, Trent Brown, winning the Offensive Lineman Award. D-line over here goes to Bradley Chubb, is the #1 defensive rusher on the pass rusher in the AFC. He wins the award. Matthew Judon played lights out, and then Von Miller. So the Broncos are coming into this game with a good secondary and 2 top pass rushers, and Von Miller and Bradley Chubb. NFC, I said the defensive line in NFC. Khalil Mack wins that award. Khalil Mack's been nothing other than lights out all year long. I don't think there's a guy on headset that played the Bears this year that cannot talk about the Bears without talking about Khalil Mack.
I ain't playing, but I heard more than one user say Khalil Mack after they played their game.
Yeah, man, he took games over, bro. This guy, they really was who he was, man. X Factor, and playing like one of the best pass rushers. I don't know if he still is winning a sack award. We'll get to that. Did he had the most sacks in the year? But Montez Sweat was 2nd, and Donnell Hunter for the Vikings were 3rd. Over there. Did I do the AFC guys? Yep, I did. Now go to linebackers. Best linebackers are in the AFC are Hammer, Nasir Dean. You got Jason Adolphe Owe at 2, and then Miles Jack is 3. So your top 3 are 2 Baltimore Ravens and the Jaguars. Miles Jack. NFC linebackers right now who are playing lights out for the NFC. Congratulations to Craig and the Bucks for Levante David winning that award. Micah Parsons was lights out all year long. He's been all over the place for the Cowboys. And then Deion Jones is number 3 on this list. The best DB award in the NFC goes to Ghostface Jerry Jacobs for the Lions, and then Buda Baker and Tate Gowen. So you got 2 Cardinals taking over the 2nd and 3rd position, and Jerry Jacobs wins this award. Congratulations to Jerry Jacobs. And the AFC, the best DB award goes to Davius White. Then you got Denzel Ward, and then rookie Donovan Steiner for the Baltimore Ravens round off your top 3. That's your award race winners right now. Let's get over here to the stats and what players did all year. Are we going to be impressed by some of these numbers? I think we are. The first numbers we're going to be impressed by is Kyler Murray threw for 6,855 yards. 81 touchdowns, 46 interceptions at a 64% completion percentage. Sacked 20 times, but this guy threw the ball at a high level. Are we impressed with this, man? This shit is nuts, man. Kyler, man, dual threat quarterback, can use his legs, but he can play, and he's showing he can play from the pocket. Kyler Murray.
First number, super impressive.
Oh my God, I'm missing this. All right, let's get this right now. Lamar Jackson, number 2. Patrick Mahomes, number 3. Greatest passer, hands down. Yes, sir. I agree. Let's see your top touchdown makers right now through the air. Obviously, Kyler Murray 81, Lamar Jackson 60, and Patrick Mahomes 55. With Teddy Bridgewater 54. Let's get to the run game. I'm not going to talk about carries because we've been talking about that all day or every day on every podcast. We know these guys running the ball at a high level, but we do have 2 running backs in the league that carried the ball over 400 times. Here we go. 2,833 yards. J.K. Dobbins has the rushing title. Simple as that. We do have 4 2,000-yard backs. 2,700 out of Ronald Jones, 2,300 out of Elliott, and 2,100 out of Barkley. Let's go to touchdowns. We got running backs with 40-plus touchdowns. Ronald Jones, 48. J.K. Dobbins, 41. Elliott had 32. And the rookie, Travis Etienne, with 28, along with Najee Harris with 26 touchdown. Let's get to the receivers real fast. Let's talk about catches first. Who caught the ball at a high clip? Rondelle Moore had 120 catches. Tight end Jared Cook, we're not going to talk about him. Kelsey had 104 catches as well. Now, yards-wise right now, you're going to see a surprise here. Jalen Waddle, 2,681 yards. Hollywood Brown, 2,575. Tyreek Hill, 2,473. Rondell Mill, 2,118. Isabella, 2,006. We literally got two receivers on the same team that caught 2,000 yards worth of passes this year. 120, 101. Jesus Christ. All right, so we haven't seen this ever in any of our leagues where you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 receivers that went over 2,000 yards. That's very, very impressive. Touchdowns, though. Let's go look at who did what. Obviously, Jalen Waddle at 42. Hollywood Brown with 30. Isabella with 28. Rondell Moore with 25. Tyreek Hill with 23. And D-Hop with 20. I told y'all the Cardinals had 3 receivers over 20 touchdowns or more. Very impressive, very impressive. Ravens driving to tie the game up. Shit. All right, let me hurry up and get over here. Defense, real fast. Tacklers. If it's a computer team, I will not talk about it. Like if the guy's tanking and didn't play. So our leading tackler right now is Isaiah Simmons with 128 tackles. Miles Jack with 126. Eric Kendricks with 121. Tackles for loss, my favorite stat. We going right here to Levante Davis at the middle linebacker position, had 26 tackle for losses. Jamin Davis for the Washington football team, 17. And J.J. Watt from the D tackle position had 15. Now let's get to the sacks real fast. Inside the 5, oh my God. 22.5 sacks out of Montez Sweat. He's our sack leader. Khalil Mack had 21.5. And Hammer Nasiruddin had 18, along with Bradley Chubb with 16.5. INTs right now. Let's go look at who did what. 13 for who that. Baker had 12, Buda Baker with 12 of them. Tre'Davious White had 12. Xavier Howard had 11. Denzel Ward had 11. And Tay Gowan had 11 as well. Rookie Donovan Steiner had 10. And Isaiah Simmons from the middle linebacker position had 10. Along with Carlton Davis, Murphy Bunton, Darius Slade, bunch of 10s, and 10s. We'll get back to all this, man. Good luck in the playoffs, man. Get your game scheduled, and we'll holler at y'all on the flip side. And hits the franchise guru. I'm out of here.